College football playoff is here. Rose Bowl edition. The Michigan Wolverines take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Jim Harbaugh, Nick Saban. No shortage of excitement, no shortage of talent, no shortage of drama in this game. Drama specifically, I mentioned because you are rooting harshly against Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines as the Michigan State football fan that you are. Why are you acting confused by this?
What do you mean?
Oh, come on. We're not pretending that's not the case here. Come on.
I just want to see a good game.
Do you?
Yeah, I actually do. I'd like to see a good game.
Do you think it will be a good game?
I actually do think it'll be a really good game. I think it'll come down to someone has the ball with one possession, and are they ready for the moment? Are they going to make that play? I think when the game first came out, I said it was going to be. I don't have a prediction, but JJ McCarthy's going to have the ball last, and we're just going to see what happens.
So I know exactly where I think you're going with this then. If J.J. McCarthy has the ball last and you believe the game comes down to does someone make the big play in the big moment or not, I would assume your belief is that J.J. McCarthy will not make the big play and Alabama will win this football game. Is that correct?
If you held me at podcast gunpoint and asked me to, that'd probably be the way I'd go.
What if I'm not holding you at gunpoint? Like, can I just get an honest answer for why duck from the moment now? Why run from the spotlight now? After years of saying you don't think JJ McCarthy's that guy, you won't go on record and say that you don't believe in him in this spot to win his game against Jalen Milroe?
No, I mean I think JJ McCarthy's a good quarterback. You just lose me at the top five quarterback in the country talk. I don't think he's that. I think he's good enough to get you to this point. But I think if anything has shown his play in the college football playoff, I know it's only been very short. I think he did he play a little bit in the Georgia game or no?
Yes, a little bit. He
A little
actually
bit.
so Cade, couldn't get anything going against Georgia. Late in
Mhm.
the game, JJ comes in, immediate touchdown drive.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, if Georgia's backups are out there, he'll do very good. But yeah,
Uh,
I've seen him in the big moment in the college football playoff, and he didn't get it done. So
but that's okay.
that's what I got to go off of.
We've done the JJ conversation in the past. I would consider Ohio State games numerous, being quote unquote big moments. I don't want to say as big as the college football playoff. They certainly have not. To me, he was horrible against TCU. He's been great in every Ohio State game. So if we're stacking
Mhm.
up, do I trust JJ in the big moment? I would say more often than not, he's been good in the big moment. You mentioned quickly he's not a top five quarterback. Is Jalen Milroe a top five quarterback?
Let me see. In all college football, probably not. But I think that Jalen Milroe is actually better than JJ McCarthy.
So if you could pick one guy to be your quarterback in this game, just everything else in a vacuum, pick one
Uh,
guy. Who do you want as your quarterback? You would take Milroe over McCarthy.
yeah,
That's quite a take, I think.
I think Milroe's pretty dynamic.
He's been really good in the late half of the season. He
Yeah,
was disastrous in the first half of the season.
he was. Then he realized he can run.
Do you think Nick Saban realized he can run too?
Yeah, I think that once Jalen Milroe realized that he could run from people, it changed a lot of things.
How much do you trust this Alabama team in general? Obviously, they beat Georgia. Georgia looked fantastic in the blowout win over a Florida State team who had three players that decided they wanted to play. I think they're good. Don't get me wrong. I think they're very good. I think they're one of the best four teams in the country, no doubt. I would not be surprised if they win the national championship. In fact, they're the team that I'm going to bet on to win the national championship. You give me Nick Saban, pick them against Jim Harbaugh. I'm taking Nick Saban every single time that I get that opportunity. Now, I also think we've seen a lot of Alabama this year where they look extremely vulnerable compared to previous Alabama versions. Quite frankly, I'm shocked they beat Georgia. I think Georgia is still very clearly a much better football team than them. I think Auburn's horrendous. I think Auburn's a very bad football team. We just saw Peyton Thorne Auburn get destroyed by Maryland in their bowl game. Auburn should have beaten Alabama in the final game of the season straight up, barring a miracle play and a very bad play by Auburn's defensive backs. Now here we are, but I cannot shake the fact that Peyton Thorne had this team beat, dead to rights. It was over. And now I'm supposed to be really afraid of Alabama. Is that fair of me or not?
It's fair, but I think we need to lean on the first part of it more. It's Nick Saban. in this spot. He got there. That's the scary part to me. Like Nick Saban got here and he beat Georgia, who I agree with you. I think Georgia is the better football team, but I think that Bama got them on that day. And I think that Nick Saban did a lot to contribute to that. And I'm afraid of that, man. I'm afraid of Nick Saban in this spot. I'm also afraid of Nick Saban in the spot that the way people talked about him. Like when they lost, I think it was Texas came into Tuscaloosa and got the win. They were talking about Nick Saban might be finished, like actually. Like they were like, mate, this isn't him. He can't get a quarterback. He can't do this. He can't do that. He proceeds to find a way to run the table, which he does, and then beats, to me, the best team in the country in the Georgia Bulldogs. So I just feel like this team right now is rolling. They're coming off a really big win. And to me, I brought this up when we talked about it the first time once the college football like matchups came out. I see a lot of similarities, not necessarily maybe like I think that Georgia team is clearly more talented, the one that played Michigan a couple years ago. But style-wise, other player-wise, I think there's a lot of similarities between this Alabama team and that Georgia team that Michigan played. I don't think they're as good, don't get me wrong, but I think they kind of are similar in a sense. So to me, this is going to be a very close game. I think Pick'em is the correct call for this game because I think it's going to be like a one-score game. Like some team wins by 3, maybe some team wins by 1 with a field goal kick. I could see it being that type of game. So can I tell you one thing, though, when I'm being serious about this?
Of course.
The value actually might lie with Michigan.
Oh, didn't expect that twist from you.
Yeah, I think it actually might. Because when you look at it, I think that Michigan should be able to. I mean, you point to the Auburn game. What was Auburn doing the whole time? They were running the ball against Alabama. Michigan's a really good team with the run. Michigan has a really good running back. Michigan also has a quarterback who can run in J.J. McCarthy. And maybe J.J. McCarthy is healthier than he's been the past couple of games. I know he had that Penn State injury. So, when I look at that and I take off my, I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, which is what I'm going to be on tomorrow. Let that be known. I'm gonna have a fat dip in and a fat whiskey on the rocks poured, and I'm gonna be rolling with the Tide. I also made a cutoff jean shirt for the occasion.
All right.
Tide are rolling. But yeah, I don't know. When you look at it in the just taking off my green glasses and looking at it as a matchup, there's a lot of things that Michigan could do to win this game. Like that, it's there for them.
Yeah, which I think is like both exciting and also terrifying because it was there for them against TCU last year and they pissed down their leg and we all know what happened next. So like in a sick way, like I think Michigan operates best when they aren't like a heavy favorite. I don't think this program has necessarily like earned the right to be the big dog on campus. And in a sick way, I think if Georgia was still in this college football playoff, that would kind of buy Michigan the time to be like, we're not a favorite. Like we're here. We still got to earn it. We're the underdog. Now they are like the big bad dude, like the big bad block M. And I think everybody's uncomfortable with that. I think you saw the video of them getting the Alabama matchup announced and everybody was kind of like, like if you buy what anybody said in front of the camera lately, everybody's afraid of Alabama. And maybe afraid's not the right word, but it's a lot of like, Alabama's been the baddest dog on the block for a decade. Like Michigan shouldn't be talking like that if they really are the best team here. And I think on paper they are the best team here. I want to say that. I think objectively Michigan has been a better football team than Alabama this season. Now Michigan's had a lot of drama with it. Obviously the Spygate stuff has hung over this team's head. I think it's been very impressive what they've done without Jim Harbaugh on the sideline to go beat Penn State and Ohio State in the fashion they did. Now, I know Ohio State and Penn State lost their bowl games with a lot of opt-outs involved, but to me, those were still really good wins, really good teams. And you're right. I like the Auburn comp where like Peyton Thorne had like 90 yards rushing in that game. J.J. McCarthy's a more dynamic rushing quarterback than Thorne is. So I do think like that's a good call out. He should be able to feast in some read option looks. The bottom line to me is this. I think the quarterback that makes more mistakes loses this game. I think we saw that with Michigan against TCU last year. J.J. McCarthy made more mistakes than Max Duggan. That was essentially the game. Michigan tried to overcome it. I thought Michigan was the better team elsewhere, and they almost did overcome it. But they could not overcome the pick six. They could not overcome his mistakes in that game. to me, Milroe, as dynamic as he is a quarterback that will make mistakes. Like, we can say that pretty clearly, right? Like, Milroe very rarely plays a clean game, even when he plays well. There's some moments where it's like, what are you doing? To me, the side of the ball to watch is Alabama offensively against Michigan's defense, because I think Michigan's defense is good enough to win the turnover battle in this game, to cause some mistakes from Milroe, to give him some looks he hasn't seen in SEC play. So that's where I'm at. I think, like I said, I am going to be betting Alabama in this game because I cannot get over Nick Saban money line. Pick them. Like, we have a Bible of betting. What's the number one thing in the book of sleepers Bible of betting?
You don't bet against Nick Saban.
Nick Saban underdog or pick 'em is an auto bet, no matter the circumstances.
Auto bet, and you live with it, Win or lose, you ride with it because you're rarely given the opportunity. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here, Greg.
Oh.
There's a certain amount of players and teams that you just don't get at plus money. So when you get them, you place the bet and you sit back and you hope you win. And if you lose, you still hold your betting head high because that was the auto play. That's what you do.
And the auto play, by the way, worked against Georgia, mind you. Like, they were underdogs, and everybody, there's no way this team's down. They almost got beat by Auburn. They got Georgia. No, what you got was great value on Nick Saban against a really good team. Michigan's a really good team too. Jim Harbaugh hasn't exactly been at his best in these big moments. He can say all the Jesus quotes he wants. He can get biblical with it. He can hire an NFL agent. This man's all over the place. It is what it is. I've been very adamant all season. This is his final run at Michigan. I still believe that. Michigan reporters can try to make you think otherwise, but the guy's wanted an NFL job the last 2 seasons. And he's come back because he's had a 5th year of Blake Corum and an NFL quarterback. And like, this is his run, right? They're the 1 seed. He's done everything they were supposed to do up to this point. I think this is it. And whether this being it results in a national championship or it results in a pick 'em loss to Alabama, we'll have to wait and see. But I know where my money will be at. It will be on Alabama, the Tide. Even though I think Michigan has the better team, I think the better play is Nick Saban trusting him in this spot over Jim Harbaugh.
Is it fair to say that the winner of the national championship is coming from this game?
I think so. Do you think it's like Georgia, Ohio State last year where we got like a classic down to a field goal attempt and then the winner's just going to roll in the title game?
See, I came in thinking that, but it's something about Washington and Michael Penix that I can't shake.
It's a good segue. We're going to preview that game also on the channel, so click over and watch our Washington, Texas preview. But I think the winner of this game is the national champion.
And it will be Bama, right?
It could be Michigan.
It
will be Bama.
Okay. Got you.
Good luck, Crimson Cart.
Crimson Cart. That's actually fire.